Okay, now let's really get into how we're actually going to find slope of a line. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. Before we do, remember, this is first confusion is it's weird. The variable they use to represent slope is not s, right? It would make sense if it was s, but it isn't. It's m. Okay, so that's the first thing. Which one represents slope? It's m. So just remember that. You're going to see whenever we talk about m in these, m is the slope. It's just the variable. It's the letter that we decided. I'm not even sure why they decided this is the letter, but that's the letter. All right, that's how we represent slope. That's the variable. All right, so remember, how do we measure slope? Right, what do we talk about? It's a ratio. It's a fraction. A fraction of what? Rise over run. Remember, we talked about it. That's the vertical over the horizontal, right? How much are you going up or down versus how much are you going right or left, right? So that's what it is. We're breaking it down into two directions, vertical and horizontal, right? So it's vertical movement over horizontal movement, right? And again, the vertical, that's the y-axis. The horizontal, that's the x-axis. That's where we get the change in y over the change in x for that one, right? So just remember, the top is the change in the y, the vertical movement. The x is on the bottom, right? How much are you moving horizontally? All right? So that's the key to keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead through here. Here now we have a line. Here's just a basic line. And the best part about a line is the slope is the same throughout the entire line. That's what you got to keep in mind here. A straight line means the slope is the same all the way through. All right, so what you want to do first is find where the line crosses the corners on the graph. And I'm going to start at the bottom, the base, right, the lowest part there. And I can see that, look at that, there's a point right there on that corner. I just follow the line up, and I see that the next one is right there, right? I'm just seeing where does the line cross on the corners, right? As I continue up, there it is, right? It's not anywhere else. And you can see there's a pattern to where these lines are crossing and intersecting the corners of my graphs, right? Of corners of where the squares come together. This next part, how we go from here, is what you've already basically done when you did Pythagorean theorem. We're going to make some right triangles with our verticals and our horizontals, right? Look at that. There's my triangle right there from those 2 points. What's cool is to see is that other triangle is exactly the same size, right? And I'm actually just making right triangles. I'm actually making a staircase to measure this slope. All right, now that I see this, well, what am I starting at? Well, I went up 1 there, and then I went right 1, 2, 3 spaces right there. Remember what we talked about before. Moving up, that's a positive movement. Moving right, that's also a positive movement, right? So +1, +3, up 1, right 3. Oh, also up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. That's what it does throughout the entire line. There are our numbers. We just have to put them in our fraction. Remembering that slope, the letter M, is rise over run. The vertical over the horizontal. The vertical is how much we went up. Well, we went up 1. The horizontal is how much we went over. We went right 3. Well, that just means that that's our slope, and we're done. Let's try one more. That's the idea. Let's try one more. Here we go. We get another line right here. This one is steeper than the last one. So I'm going to get something bigger than 1/3, right? Because this is a steeper line. Same idea. Let's find the corners. Well, it crosses right there. Oh, there it is again. There it is. There it is again. Let's make the staircases, right? Let's make those triangles. There's the first one. There's the second one. Oh, they look all the same all the way up right there. That's the key. You better get the same triangles, right? Same size triangles. What are my numbers? What's my vertical movement? Looks like I'm going up 2 spaces on every one of those. Well, what's my horizontal? Looks like only a 1 spacer there, doesn't it? So there are my numbers. I just have to make sure I put them as rise over run, vertical over horizontal. Well, what's my vertical number? Looks like it's a 2. plus 2. My horizontal number, there's my plus 1. Well, plus 2 over plus 1, that's the same as just getting everything being positive, and that's our slope, 2 over 1. Remember, 2 over 1 can simplify to just 2, and that's the slope right there. And that's how you do it. All right, we're going to practice doing this right here because this is the idea throughout this whole thing. All right, let's practice.